Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to be featuring the Latte Love Suite collection. That's an online exclusive product, and the new More Than Autumn bundle that is now out in the holiday catalog that you're seeing right there. That came out on Wednesday, so those products are now available to you. They coordinate beautifully together. The scale is just right. The sentiments go perfectly. And this is not just for fall either. There's hot cocoa in there, peppermint, eggnog, which is all clearly winter. You have like your little gingerbread men, candy canes. Pair that up with some of our Christmas Designer Series paper, and you can take that to a completely different level. Tons and tons of standalone die cuts there that I just pointed to with the little words inside the donut. And those words in the stamp set, they do not cut out the die cuts there. Those die cuts are standalone. But this is a huge bundle there. And again, lots and lots of creative opportunities that you can do with this. And I look forward to unpacking that with you. Now, this is I think it's called A Little Latte Suite Collection. And again, that is from our online exclusive product line, no catalog to it. And we're using this to make our first card. That one has a ton of standalone die cuts out there, along with the designer series paper. And then there's that really chunky ribbon, not chunky, it's twine, a lot of twine that we're bringing into, along with the adhesive back dots that coordinate with this suite collection. So for our first card, only thing I'm bringing in is that stamp from the More Than Autumn, the heart one, because we're going to put that in between our coffee cups. So we have a top folding A2 card base in basic white thick, and I'm going to grab the little bean image in Latte Love and ink that up with pecan pie ink, twisting and turning the stamp around the entire time, just so I get different placement of the beans. And that is going to go all the way around our card base there. And I went ahead a little bit because I'm slowing this down so I don't trip over my words, which I really hate. And I'm closing up the ink pad right now. I cut a piece down of Lost Lagoon down, and as always, all the measurements, everything like that will be over on the blog at cindybdesigns.com. There's going to be a direct link to the blog post in this YouTube description. So again, go check it out and look at it. I'm really cautious when I put on those kind of layers because I'm only giving myself like an eighth of an inch in between them, and our Lost Lagoon was 4. So now I cut 2 circles from larger circles and stylish shapes out of our vellum cardstock and our basic white regular. And I'm going to line up our circle there in the Stamparatus. And I did order the Sizzix one, by the way. I'm just waiting for it. And I'm going to play around with it a little bit and then let you know how that goes. And I'm going to lay down, I know I'm all over the place, huh? I'm going to lay down our sentiment from Latte Love onto the circle there, more so towards the right, because I do have an idea of how I want to, or get my sketch laid out and this card laid out. So that went down in early espresso ink because I am combining early espresso, pecan pie, and Lost Lagoon in this card. So I got that down, and now we are going to cut out our little coffee cups. That you get 2 of them, and it's a standalone die. And I also am going to bring in, oh well, for lack of a better term, just like the top of your coffee as you're looking down into it when they do a design. And I cut that out of the designer series paper and then grab the coordinating die to cut that out all the way. But those cups right there, I ran one through in Lost Lagoon and the other one in Early Espresso. Punch them out right now. And this is where I'm going to grab the Lost Lagoon ink pad and Early Espresso and that little heart stamp and just put it right there on top of it. And I zoomed in super, super close so that way you could see it. So from here on out, we're pretty much just going to put our card together with all our adhesive and everything like that. But you can find the More Than Autumn bundle coming up on page 49 of the holiday catalog. So I'm grabbing that ribbon, and my biggest cheat in life is Scotch tape to get something like that down on the back with my little cute Doxy tape holder because I have a Dachshund, and boy, is she a diva. Again, getting everything lined up. I'm going to put our image panel down with seal adhesive. If you hear me say snail a lot and alternate with seal, same adhesive, we just changed the name. I've been around forever and got used to that. So yeah. Now I'm putting together, don't do that, don't do that, because I wanted the vellum down so I get to hear it like that, as opposed to keeping the top circle adhere to it, because I'm going to put that on Stampin' Dimensionals. And that is why I stamped the sentiment more so over towards the left, so that way I can pop our coffee cups down. Now, the way I did my card, I shouldn't have put that mini Stampin' Dimensional at the top, because I do end up taking it off in the long run, but it worked out just fine. 4 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our sentiment panel there, top and bottom, because I need the center to be cleared to accommodate that bulky ribbon. And now I'm just going to arrange everything there, taking off the Stampin' Dimensionals, not the backing, and laying everything down. And I have no idea what that noise was, and I hope you didn't hear it. And now I'm distracted. Okay, got that down. So I'm going to pull in our coordinating pecan pie dots that are in that sweet collection and lay 3 of them down. Two of them are like kind of help to keep the vellum down a little bit at the top, and one at the bottom. And that is what our first card is looking like. So for our second card, we are really focusing in on the More Than Autumn bundle. We have the little latte, coffee cup there, the froth, and then the pumpkin. I brought back in the designer series paper from Latte Love for this card, and we have an early espresso card base that again is top folding A2 card, and very, very slim margins because 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, but I needed that something on the outside there. So I'm taking the third and the fourth largest countryside corners dies, and I'm cutting the largest one out from early espresso, and then the second one is going to be cut out from basic white cardstock. And now, come to think of it, when I'm looking at the finished product, I kind of wish I had run that panel through an embossing folder of some type or another, but the card is done. There's nothing I can do with it, but just in case you want to case this or something like that, and maybe the same thing with the vellum panel on the last card. But this one here, that white panel, definitely could have used a little bit of embossing. So now we are going to stamp out our images there. And I'm going to go back and forth a little bit because as I was doing this, kind of more ideas came to my mind. And before I got too committed to anything, I wanted, to be able to pretty much explore that. So the top of and that would also be a great ice cream cone if you think about it. So the top of our latte, oh gosh, whipped cream or whatever, that was put down in pecan pie onto very vanilla thick cardstock. I grabbed in a blender pen and pulled the ink out to give it a little bit of color because it really, really needed it. And then pecan pie ink again to restamp it to give back the color that I took away with a blender pen. But you can see that that's exactly what that needs. And it's not obvious, but it's there, and perfect. And I watch TV when I do this because I need emotional support background noise, I guess. We are going to lay down our pumpkin and our coffee cup in basic beige ink there because I'm going to bring in our Stampin' Blends markers and get those colored up. Now, when I color with Stampin' Blends, pretty much any kind of coloring, I, leave the stamps there on your lid because you have to restamp it. I put everything down crumb cake, mainly basic beige now since that came out, because that way I can still see the lines, color within them, and then restamp it in whatever color I want to crisp up the lines. So this little pumpkin guy here, gal, pumpkinette, I went around with that with dark peach pie and then blended everything out with a light peach pie. Use circular motions because that way you don't get any globs of ink. And for this, I decided, okay, that one's done. I'm going to go ahead and just get our image down again. Ink that up in early espresso. Second week in a row, I haven't used any black ink, but it's working out and it goes perfectly with this card. So got that stamp cleaned up and we're going to go back to our cup there. I went and grabbed a pecan pie Stampin' Right marker, and that is water-based. The Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based. And I only colored in those two lines for the center there because that's where we're going to adhere the pumpkin. But I wanted to do the same thing that I did with the whipped cream, is to drag that pecan pie color up there with a blender pen. And, don't forget to wipe everything off from the pen on scratch paper. So now that's done there. And I have a dark pecan pie Stampin' Blends marker, kind of going around the outside with that a little bit, and then filling it in with a light blend. You see me twist and turn that marker, color in circular motions, because I do not want to dull my tip or the edge, and I mainly color off the edge because these are disposable, not disposable, consumable items, and yeah, you dispose of them too. And I try to keep it going for as long as I can, as opposed to something like a Copic marker that's refillable. So I do, I stretch my markers out. Ink that up twice with early espresso ink. Got my color down there, everything that I wanted, and it's looking good, and that is how it looks. I'm going to pull in now. I need some more sticky tape there. It's really low tack tape to hold down my dies. I'm going to pull in the dies now, get everything lined up and taped up. And sometimes those little teeny tiny ones like that, they can be tricky. And then bring back in the mini Stampin' Cut and Bias machine, same one I used for our first card. Get those all cut out. And then I'm going to adhere our panels together. You're going to see not a ribbon, but a twine disaster. I am just terrible about doing that all the way around. I think it's the nails. It's definitely the nails, but I just have to live with that. Got those two panels adhered together, set them up, and now we're going to go on to put our coffee cup together. So as we're putting this together, mini stamped dimensional on the back of the pumpkin, that's going to go right in the middle of our cup. Pulling back in our whipped cream, a little bit of liquid adhesive on the top there. Going to get that set up. And this is where I come in with, this is Baker's Twine Essential, and that is our crumb cake color. Once again, bring in the tape, cut the tags off, and I don't tie it very well at all. You're going to see me twist and turn it around like I did last week, because I always forget like which direction to tie it towards you. So I'm getting that down and tied up. I'm going to mess with the tails for a while. Eventually put stamped initials on the back of our coffee cup there and the back of that panel and adhere to the front of the card. There is no sentiment on the front of this card. There's no rule that says you have to have a sentiment on the front of your card. There's really no rules. I mean, kind of like they have the rule of odds or threes or, fives, sevens. But just do your thing. And that makes it so much more fun. And I think that I did the inside enough to make up for the outside. I mean, whoever you give cards to, they're going to love it no matter what. So I'm really thinking about not stopping the videos, but doing more YouTube lives or a Facebook live. I'm starting to get over my fear of that. And one of these days, I'm just going to jump on my Facebook page, which is Cindy B Designs, and it's going to look like a mess as I adjust everything and then just start going. So your feedback would be great from that. And I'll let you know when I'm going to try it. But I'm still kind of nervous because I am not good at social media. I mean, I really hate it. I'm not good at it at all, but you have to be in this day and age for doing what I do. So I'm just, like I said, I have to get over it. And everyone's told me, get over it. That is our card. Now for the inside of it, I'm taking that little teeny tiny, I think it's You Are That. Yeah. And this card was mainly made for one of my girlfriends having a tough time. You are the spice, and you just have to remember who you are sometimes, right? So this is going to go to her as an encouragement card. That part of the sentiment is laid down with early espresso ink, and then I'm going to bring in our die cut machine again with a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock and that spice die right there. And I'm only going to cut it out one time. It's bigger than I thought it would be, and it's not so delicate as compared to some of our other dies. So that was a very nice surprise, which means this one is easy to stack if you want to cut it out 3 and 4 times and lay them on top of each other. This time around, I didn't want to, so that it worked out perfectly. I am bringing in my tweezers, trying to keep it away from that magnet there, and little teeny tiny drops of liquid adhesive on the back of our die cut there. And then I am going to lay that down and then use the tip of my tweezers there just to get it secured. And from the stamp set, I'm going to bring in the sprinkles that most people use with donuts and use that to accent the inside of our card there. Now I'm going to get that adhered to a pecan pie mat with seal adhesive, and then with liquid adhesive onto the early espresso card base. So we are in the home stretch now. Once I get that down, this card is done. Now for September 20th, I'm not sure if I'll have a video for you or not that weekend. I'm going to have to wing that. I know that Paper Pumpkin will be coming up. Next week, maybe a technique or something, or a fun fold. And I'll do my best. I hope that these cards gave you some inspiration as to how to use these 2 stamp sets and the bundles in the designer series paper, everything all together. They were super simple to make, a couple techniques in there. But I do want to invite you to join suochallenges.com next Tuesday. We have a challenge every other Tuesday, and this one is to use 1 stamp, which I did, and the rest is ephemera. So thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I will see you again next week.